From the Home Slice News Center, this is the Daily Slice for Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. I'm D. Ray Knight, and this is what's going on. Police investigators have interviewed dozens of people about a fatal shooting at a downtown Rapid City bar as they work to find a suspect. Police spokesman Brendan Medina says officers are also trying to identify sources of video that may help determine who was involved. Officers were called to Teddy's Sports Bar on Main Street about 1 a.m. Sunday on a report of a shooting inside the establishment. Police say a large group of people fled the bar after the shooting. A man in his 30s died from injuries suffered in the shooting. The victim has not been identified. Frustrated teachers in South Dakota say something needs to be done about the growing number of repeat juvenile offenders who are disrupting classrooms. The state Senate this week is expected to consider a bill that begins the work toward reforming South Dakota's juvenile justice system. A Senate committee last week heard heated testimony from educators, public defenders, school board officials, and others before passing legislation that would create a 15-member task force to study the current system and make recommendations on reform. The task force would have 5 House members, 5 senators, and 5 people with knowledge and experience in juvenile justice appointed by the governor. Another man convicted of a fatal shooting on the Pine Ridge Reservation in 2016 has been sentenced to life in federal prison. 32-year-old Adan Corona was convicted last year along with Francisco Villanueva of first-degree premeditated murder, first-degree felony murder, and 3 other counts in the death of Vinnie Brewer. Corona's attorney argued Friday's sentence of mandatory life in prison was cruel and unusual punishment and that it will be appealed. Villanueva was earlier sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. In national and international news, world leaders are getting over the shock of Russian President Vladimir Putin ordering his forces into separatist regions of Ukraine, and they are focusing on producing as forceful a reaction as possible. Germany made the first big move today and took steps to halt the process of certifying the NordStream 2 gas pipeline from Russia. The West insisted Putin's bold move violates countless international agreements and believe it is now time for action. As police were arresting a man outside a McDonald's in Salt Lake City on Monday afternoon, they saw a gun emerge from the back seat. An officer was able to push it away just as it went off. The shooter was the man's 4-year-old son, who police say was directed by his father to shoot at officers. Apparently, the man went through the fast food franchise's drive-thru and became angry when his order wasn't correct. Police say he brandished a gun at employees who told him to pull around the side of the restaurant so they could bring him the right food. Instead, they called police. Police say the man wouldn't get out of his car when they arrived on the scene, but they eventually pulled him out, and then the gun appeared as they were taking him into custody. The Salt Lake County Sheriff says the officer who responded is a hero, especially because he quickly shouted, "Kid, kid, kid," so no officers would return fire. The boy's 3-year-old sister was also in the back seat. They were released to relatives. U.S. women's soccer players have reached a landmark agreement with the sport's American governing body to end a 6-year legal battle over equal pay. The deal promises them $24 million plus bonuses that match those of men. The U.S. Soccer Federation and the women have announced a deal in which the players will split $22 million, about 1/3 of what they sought in damages. The USSF also agrees to establish a fund with $2 million to benefit the players in their post-soccer careers and charitable efforts aimed at growing the sport for women. Your weather forecast from the Home Slice Weather Center. A winter weather advisory is still in effect with some blowing snow and frigid temperatures of 1 below 0 with wind chills at 40 below. Tonight's low will be 14 below 0. And that was your Daily Slice for Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. The Daily Slice is a production of Home Slice Media Group, hosted by D. Ray Knight with Chrissy Davies and Amy Rose. Executive producer Mark Houston. Engineered by Chris Jacquez. I'm D. Ray Knight. Have a great day.